Good morning, gamers. It's me, Phoebe Bridgers. Welcome back to Kyoto, also known as Minecraft. I can't waste any time today. Truly, I hate to start this video so anxiously, but we don't have any time to spare. Something gigantic has happened. Massive. Perhaps even the best test snapshot change. It's test snapshot number 4 now. Warnings, I don't need them. It's test snapshot number 4 now. Alright, so, while I'm stuck on 0, roll a clip. Okay, actually, never mind. I don't really have time for that kind of stuff today. But a while ago, I said that there should be more calcite, like maybe a little bit more calcite, like in the mountains, right? Like calcite mountains. Imagine it. You don't have to ruin the geode. The geode survives. The mountain is calcite. It looks good. Yes, here we are. I don't know what I was doing with my FOV, why it's like that, but a brand new world. It looks good. CALCITE Mountains. This week there has been a gigantic change to one mountain biome, the Stony Peaks biome. The Stony Peaks biome, it generates in, and we have lots of stone. Including, do you see what that is? Do you see what that is? Yes, that's right. This is the best day in history ever. Gamers, we've done it. The CALCITE Mountains are here. In today's video, we're going to break down 1.18 test snapshot number 4. If you like this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe. Doing both of those things will help the channel out huge time and also help yourself out because it should protect you from things like sleep paralysis demons, wendigos, bad things like that. So consider it. So I'm sorry, lately, actually I'm not sorry, I've been very excited about this 1.18 stuff. It's cool. Minecraft is basically turning into Minecraft 2.0. This change, I basically cannot handle it. Calcite inside of the mountains, this is amazing. The calcite chunks, we can actually get more calcite easily. And the geodes that are already amazing looking, we don't actually have to destroy them. This is great. I don't usually lie, and today is one of those days. In the intro, I said we're breaking down 1.18 test snapshot number 4. That is the plan. The 4th experimental snapshot for 1.18 seems to be a little bit smaller than 1.18 snapshot number 3. On screen right now, you can see all of the changes in test snapshot number 4. There are a lot, tons of terrain adjustments here, but yeah, probably not as many as in 1.18 test snapshot 3. Which means if you've been waiting for regular 1.18 snapshots, like not the test ones, that could be good news. If the test snapshots get smaller, things get a little bit more polished up, then it's snapshot time. This week, let's start off with stone, specifically stone shores. As of this week's test snapshot, stone shores will now generate with layers of gravel, diorite, andesite, and granite. This should make the stone shores feel a little bit less blotchy, a little bit more consistent. Now, speaking of blotchy, that's awkward. But I think this is what the changelog the devs are talking about here. We have a strip of andesite in there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. This over here, yeah, it looks pretty normal. I mean, I don't think it's that big of a problem though. But yeah, if we are able to find more stone shores over here, they should be a little bit less blotchy. To be honest, I don't know what's going on there, so we're just going to move on. Not to brag, but I'm an official gamer. I have more than one monitor. Looking at the changelog on my second monitor while I'm looking at the shore on the first monitor, I don't know. I don't see very much about shoreline changes, but I have to say, this is a really nice shoreline. Like, I love how this thing just drops off into the sea, the savanna right there, the plains, the forest, whatever's going on here. I think that's a really solid shoreline. That looks good. The beach over here next to this forest also looks really, really good. That's a pretty normal looking beach, and hey, a floating shipwreck. Oh, wow. Okay, so I don't think this is technically a stone shore. It's another drop off into the ocean, which is cool. But look at this in here, how the water goes into the cave. Oh, that's amazing looking. You would have never seen something like this before. That is so cool. With the glow lichen in there too. Wow, that's amazing. The only thing that could make that better is that being like a lush cave or something. That's some amazing looking generator. Hey, look at that. Badlands. So this is kind of actually perfect. Let's talk a little bit about biome placement. If I'm being 100% honest, if you saw that video talking about microbiomes that I posted a couple days ago, yeah, I thought biome generation placement in 1.18 test snapshot 3 maybe wasn't the best. This week, it's been reverted, changed, adjusted a little. So there are a couple big changes that have happened this week. First off, the Badlands and the deserts. The Badlands and deserts are now less likely to show up as ugly microbiome splotches. That's exactly how the changelog put it. That's probably the best way to describe it. Those really strange microbiomes that were happening, they should be happening less now. The biome should be a little bit more smooth. Now, this is just one spot in this world, but this feels really, really good. Like, the desert is sizable. Lots of water in the desert, which is kind of cool. That's a little different. Look at this right here. This is really interesting how this is all cut up. We have the jungle over here, the jungle over there, the desert there, which I actually kind of like. I think that's cool. And then the warm ocean in the middle. Like, that's really, really good feeling. This is where we are. This is the world seed, if you're curious. Yeah, this feels really good with the warm ocean next to all these warm biomes. Now, speaking of warm biomes, biomes should generate a little bit more consistently. If you have a warm biome, it should be more likely to generate next to another warm biome. So like right here, this is perfect. Warm ocean, jungle very warm, desert very, very warm, Badlands pretty warm too. Moving around in here from the small bits that I've seen of Test Snapshot 4, already I would say that this is the best feeling generation out of all of the 1.18 Test Snapshots so far. Like, look at this thing. That's a consistent and solid mountain. The river in here, it's pretty consistent. Doesn't get cut up too much. It does a little bit right there, but I think that's fine. Gigantic cave generating in there, which is cool. And then, yeah, the river continues all the way through. Gigantic hills on either side. Not too close, which makes it a lot better to travel through. This is like the Grand Canyon right here. like, look at this thing. I've never been to the Grand Canyon, but I feel like this is a canyon, and it does look pretty grand. Like, that feels good. Aside from things like microbiomes, one of the most annoying parts of the 1.18 generation is when you have two giant mountains really close to each other. You have to go all the way up, you climb down to go right back up. When they're spaced out a little bit more like this, it feels a whole lot better. And I mean, I haven't walked around in it in survival until now, but I would imagine that this is a whole lot more enjoyable to travel. Now let's talk about this river, because this river is a really good looking river. There has been a change to how rivers generate in terrain in this snapshot to hopefully make terrain less annoying, like I was just talking about. Here's what I think is another example of this river change that has happened in Test Snapshot 4. So the change: reduce the likelihood of rivers being cut off and turning into steep, dry river gorges in mountainous terrain. Instead, something different is going to happen.
Fjord. Fjord. Fjord.
Fjord. It sounds like a Swedish word. It looks like a Swedish word, but I think it's English. Swedish or not, fjord. This is a fjord right here. Potentially. It could be. Statistically speaking, I'm like 95% sure that this is a fjord. And that 5% chance that I am wrong, then I never said anything about this. So a fjord. We have the hill on this side that is really steep, the hill over here that is really steep, but a wider river in the middle. So the river like forces its way through here. You could actually travel down this thing on a boat. There's that really cozy island behind us. It all feels so good. Like, this is getting me even more excited for the 1.18 generation. Now this is actually the same river that continues over this way, widens a little bit in here, almost starts to feel like a lake. Another big hill over there, which feels so good. Another giant hill right there. It keeps going through this way, and look at how wide this thing is. Like, this is really, really wide. This is good. Definitely going to need a boat when exploring a little bit more, but that's fine because the river looks amazing. We keep going down this way. Eventually the river is going to turn and then curve over to where we just were, the Grand Canyon in Minecraft. This is amazing. But it gets even better. This is amazing looking, but it could get old eventually. So the devs have built something else into the game to make it not get old. Rivers will either form a fjord or a saddle valley. A saddle valley is basically a lower part of land connecting to mountains. Let's say this terrain generation tried to happen right here, but the river just didn't work out for some reason. Then we could expect the land to kind of like curve down a little bit, not go all the way down to the river, but like curve and kind of like connect over, if you can imagine that. Aside from CALCITE Mountains, this is probably the biggest change in this week's snapshot, and it's amazing. From the rivers that I've seen, they look like real rivers. Like, this looks like one of those data packs that I showcased a while ago that actually made rivers like deep and real looking. Like, look at how good this thing is. And it goes like really deep in there. The rivers, the mountains, the height variation in general, it feels so much more natural in this snapshot and so much more manageable. Another perfect example, pretty much every river that I find in this mountain area cuts through here and ends up looking amazing. A small island in there that's so cool. It cuts down this way towards the savannah, really steep shores in here, jungle all over the place. That looks good. Next up, I've sent myself really far away so I could find a brand new Stony Peaks biome. The Stony Peaks biome that I was just at a second ago, at the very beginning of the video, admittedly wasn't the most impressive Stony Peaks biome. This Stony Peaks biome, it looks a little bit better. Look at this right here. Calcite now generates in the mountains. We can find the stuff generating in the Stony Peaks biome up top in blotches. This is huge. This is one of the changes that I really was hoping would happen in 1.18. Calcite, it gets more common. This stuff needs to be more common because it's such a cool block. Now you don't have to rip up geodes. You can go to the mountains and look at the Stony Peaks right here. Even more calcite over there, even more over there, even more over there. It's like banding through the mountain, which looks really cool. Same with the granite, same with the andesite, same with the diorite. I don't think I even need to say very much more about this change. It is self-explanatory. Pure perfection. Calcite inside of the mountains. Look at how cool that looks. Mountain peeking over the forest, the jungle, with calcite. Calcite generating in the mountains. I feel like this one could be divisive. I saw a lot of people saying that this should stay inside of amethyst geodes. So what do you think? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Put it in the comments. Here's another cool view of my favorite 1.18 test snapshot change. The calcite peeking through in the mountains again. It looks so good. In this week's test snapshot, changes are really everywhere. Of course, up in the Stony Peaks with the calcite, the rivers, the fjords, the saddle valleys, they're great. Also under the ground. Near the surface, you should find less granite, diorite, and andesite blobs. This is to make the ground at the surface look a little bit more consistent. Under the ground and in the mountains, you should be able to find more iron across the board. This is also probably a good thing. Looking around in this one specific cave, it definitely looks like I can spot a lot of iron ore on the walls. Now, it's just one cave, could be a random one-off thing, but yeah. Looks like there's a lot of iron here. Finally, something interesting is happening to the dripstone caves too. As of this snapshot, more copper will actually generate in the dripstone caves. So if you're looking for copper, your best bet is going to be dripstone caves biome or one of those gigantic copper ore veins. But yeah, dripstone caves, look at all this copper. Tons of copper over there on that wall, over here, over there. This stuff is literally everywhere inside of this dripstone cave. There's so much copper here. Finally, this is what the dripstone caves needs. See, compared to the lush caves biome, whoa, look at the geode, that's crazy. But compared to the lush caves biome, yeah, the dripstone caves is just so lacking. This is definitely a step in the right direction. Copper in the dripstone caves, yeah, I could get used to that. If you're curious about this spot though, same seed still. This is the spot. Geode and the biome blend, that's pretty sweet. This week's swamp placement has been tweaked a little bit, and swamp should stay a little bit closer to the shore. I think this is a decent example of that happening over here. I mean, I know this isn't really an ocean, but the swamp is staying pretty close to the land. The swamp in here is actually pretty significant too. We have a little bit of water in there, staying close to the land, obviously, like in the middle of it, going down that way, reaching pretty far that way actually, and then going over this way. Same thing happening over here again. The swamp gets a little bit more watery, but stays pretty close to the land. In the context of the swamp biome and what it is and making it unique, I feel like this change makes sense. Random snowy slopes biome. Oh, this is ironic. Haha, that's weird. Made snowy slopes less dirty again. For real this time is the change, and that's a lot of dirt. That's a lot of dirt. I mean, over here though, to be fair, over here, this is not very much dirt. That looks pretty good. Wait. This actually isn't even snowy slopes. Never mind. This is the grove. Okay. I still do think that looks a little strange, though. Maybe there shouldn't be as much dirt in the grove either, but the snowy slopes, yup, definitely snowy. Filled with snow. I'm going to have to say that one was my bad. That was my bad. This week, there were also some changes to the temples. Desert temples tend to be partially buried. Jungle temples and desert temples are less in the water. But, just like that, that is pretty much it for 1.18 test snapshot number 4. These are all of the changes right here. And this is such an amazing seed. Look at this mountain behind me with the giant waterfall on it. I'm very excited about this one. I have to explore it more and check out more generation, but genuinely, from what I've seen so far, this feels like the best version of 1.18 generation, and it's like miles ahead of the second best. Like, this generation is solid. I'm really happy with what the devs have done to the coastline in this test snapshot. I think it's really good. And the FJORD River thing, that is awesome. That's it for Minecraft 1.18, test snapshot number 4. Noodle Pork, Swoopy Louvers, Medical Boomstick. Thank you all so much for the support. If you enjoyed today's video, remember to leave a like and subscribe. Merch is down below the video, links in the description. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's me. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.